This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out of It. Welcome, everyone. We back.
We back another week.
Another week, another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Another Kino.
Another time we ask you to please go like, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff so we can continue making the content. I mean, we do it even if only one person was listening. Yeah. But anyway, we appreciate all of you for doing that, and also put in your recommendations. We do on every 5 episodes, so please get those in. And yeah, that's like basically the only housekeeping. We don't have anything cool going on right now.
That's it?
Except for this movie. No, I'm just kidding. This movie's not super... I mean, it's all right.
It's,
David Pryor's back.
You know, if you're brain fried like us, you will find things to appreciate.
I mean, it was entertaining. Very entertaining. Although, I will say this right now. Probably except for... Because I forgot he did Sledgehammer. Except for Sledgehammer, I think this is probably one of the least entertaining, which is saying, it's still entertaining, but it's probably his least entertaining out of the bunch.
Yeah, it's just missing certain ingredients.
Yeah, because, it's not bad by any standard, but it's not Killer Workout.
No. Oh, God, no.
It's
nothing.
It is not Killer Workout. So.
Nothing can be Killer Workout?
No, nothing can be that good. Nothing can be Rhonda's workout good. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, it's not even Man Killers.
Yes. So tonight we watched Death Chase, or Chase as the original movie, I guess, says. We watched it on Tubi. It is free on there if you want to go watch it.
But we're calling it Death Chase.
We're calling it Death Chase because that's what the poster says, and that's what IMDb says, and that's what everything else says. Yes, so that's what we're going off of.
It's slightly less generic.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. David Pryor's back, and he's up to his shenanigans.
So
Although not as crazy as his other movies.
No, because you know how Deadly Prey is about a guy being hunted for sport, game, whatever. Yeah. Well, what's this movie about?
A guy getting hunted for sport,
game, whatever.
But this time it's tag, okay? So different.
Yeah.
This time it's a game of tag.
Evil tag.
With a gun, where you hand off a silver gun, you say, tag, you're it, and then...
It's not even the first... I mean, now, we also had Avenging Force on here, which had a similar thing, but that was an actual... real movie.
It's Deadliest Prey.
It's Deadly Prey, but slightly less exciting, I would say.
Yeah.
Better ending.
Way better ending. I didn't blue ball us.
Though there is something deeply funny that happens at the end. That,
we'll get there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll go chronological, just because, explaining the plot is explaining the movie. So, because there's But get ready, if you do watch this movie, get ready for a lot of boring chase scenes. Especially the last one. It is just like, I was just like, okay, we got it.
But then they blew up a little thing in a bathtub.
I know, they did the Jaws thing. They did Jaws the Revenge on a boat.
Yeah, well, I totally believe that they blew up a boat.
Oh, yeah, completely. Are you kidding?
This movie's so expensive looking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very expensive. Very, very high budget.
That's what you watch David Pryor movies for.
Extremely high budget. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, the start of the movie is a guy getting chased by 2 goon guys. It's an old uncle getting chased by more uncles.
They're less old, but they are still uncles.
Yep. And so he's like, shoot him. And he's like, just steer the car. And he leans out the window and just starts firing a shotgun at this guy.
Every car chase in this movie.
We've explained every single car chase in this movie. That is exactly what happens. Is 2 guys and then one
or 2 women.
2 guys or 2 women in one car, and then 1 guy or 2. A man and a woman in another car, and they're just shooting back and forth. That's literally it.
Just people
while they're endlessly swerving.
People leaning out of the window of the car.
Yes.
Blasting blanks and never reloading.
Yeah. Never. That is the central theme of this. Never reload. They've all unlocked the cheat code of unlimited ammo.
Because the big thingamajiggity is a gun in this movie.
Like I said, it's the silver gun.
And you see it reloaded maybe once, despite the fact that I swear to God,
possibly twice.
This gun fires off more bullets than World War II.
Even like shotguns, which have like like a five slug capacity. Nothing. They just keep fucking going. They just keep fucking firing that goddamn thing over and over and over, like to their heart's content.
Except the one scene where he wants to kill the dungeon master. Yeah,
there is a dungeon master in this too, and it's hilarious.
So it's beginning is two guys chasing one guy.
Yeah. So so the chase leads, and then we get also cuts of our main guy Chase. His name is Stephen Chase, and his sister riding bikes through a park, and he's like, "Man, like this is such a workout. Like I can't believe." Did you notice that the description was wrong?
I don't even need to go there.
He's not a jogger.
That's Tubi's fault.
Yeah.
Tubi said jogger.
Tubi said jogger. He's not a jogger.
He's not a jogger.
He doesn't even bike. He's like inept at everything.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Yep. That's our real hero.
And yeah, they're exercising and then they're going home.
Yeah. So they're riding bikes through the park, and you know exactly what's going to happen because you're not an idiot. You know a car chase is happening around this park, and his sister is there. So one of them is going to get hurt or murdered.
Well, and you know it's the sister because our dude is on the poster.
Yep. he has what we like to call in the industry plot armor.
Yes. So eventually this chase ends.
The guy rams his car into a tree,
and he like falls out of the passenger side door.
And the sister and Chase see this, and so the sister runs over to help the guy, but gets caught in the crossfire.
She gets blasted.
Yeah, she gets absolutely annihilated by a shotgun. And then, like, they're just firing back and forth while Chase is, like, army crawling to his sister.
And they shoot back and forth.
And they all kill each other. No. Oh, no, not exactly, no. So...
They kill one of
the guys in, like, one of the goon guys.
Meanwhile,
and they hit the old guy.
Yeah,
the uncle.
He's hurt.
Yeah.
And then Chase crawls over to him and is like, "My sister's dead. Why? And
why'd you do this?" And he's like,
and he grabs his pistol.
He gives him the silver gun, and he's like, "Tag, you're it."
And then he dies.
And
then Chase just stands there. And then one of the guys, the other goon who's still alive and I guess watched all this, is like, "Give me that." He points the gun at him, and Chase just kind of like
fumbles the gun, and I guess it like misfires, and
he shoots the guy.
Yeah,
but I guess it's implied that it's on accident. He shoots the guy, and then immediately an old woman off camera.
Oh my God! You
murder!
Killed him.
And then you just see like
gunmen.
You see an old woman in like a bathrobe, yelling like, "Murderer! Murderer! I'm calling the cops! Murderer!"
So she goes inside. She waddles inside and presumably calls the cops.
Our dude runs away.
Yep. So now there's a manhunt because we don't get any scenes of like. It's not like your typical one like this where you get scenes of like. You get a few scenes of like the detectives detecting it, but you don't get ever like a police station or anything.
This movie costs like $5.
I know, well, because they don't
even have a cop car.
They go to scrap yards and junk heaps and again just any place that would let them film for free.
During the
they never go into a police station though. No. Is what I'm saying.
During the first chase scene, we totally forgot that there was two cops that were chasing them.
Yes,
and then they're shooting at the guys chasing old man.
Yeah,
and the two guys shoot the engine of the cop car.
Yeah.
And it stalls it. And it's clearly a junk car that they put the freaking siren on top.
Yeah.
And
these cars are junk cars.
There's uncle cops, they can't get
There's no like cool cars in this. There's no like sports cars, anything.
Annihilated and have their
They're all junk cars. So now we get like our henchman meeting or fucking big chairman meeting.
So it's a bunch of corporate goons.
And he's like, okay, so we've eliminated 2 and we have a Oh, no, sorry. No, we get introduced to the game master first.
He calls the corporate guy.
And he's like...
chairman.
He's like, hey, so this guy Chase picked up the gun. I'll go eliminate him. And the chairman guy's like, no. Let's see where this goes. I want to see how a civilian does in this game. So it's not all hitmen, I guess.
Yeah. And they're also implying, like, one day... because you see how lucrative this is. Maybe one day we can target like politicians who want to keep the corporation down or whatever.
Well, and the game master's like, okay, I'll keep an eye on him, basically. And then we get that meeting where he like knocks a few pegs off with a giant map of the city they have. And they're just like leaned over this game board and they're just like, yes, the pieces are all falling into place. Evil guy speech, evil guy speech, evil guy speech.
And then Chase goes back to his apartment and changes his clothes.
And he tries to call the cops and then hangs up. He's like, never mind. And then he calls his friend and 2 goons enter his house.
He hears a beeping.
Yeah.
He's not sure where it's coming from.
And 2 goons, he figures out it's from the gun, and the 2 goons enter his house, and he's like, you just lost the game or whatever. And his fucking friend like barges in.
He says something
like surprise. No, like he says like
game not over yet.
Game not over yet, and the fucking tackles them and like beats them both up, which is like record time. I wish I had a friend like this guy.
He was there within a minute.
Record time.
And he's like, okay, you we got to get out of here. Like you go out the back, and I'll bring my car around.
Yeah. And
as soon as they leave, Game Master wanders into the room. And the guys, the guys like look at him and they're like, no, we'll get him, and he shoots them.
Yeah,
because I guess if you fail for whatever reason, he kills you.
But before the friend can pick him up, isn't this where he shoots the cop in the alleyway?
It's after this.
Okay.
So also, we did get introduced earlier to 2 cops. One of them, McGrew. He's like
they're detectives. Yeah,
he is a clown.
McGrew, you instantly know, is a dirty cop. Like right the fuck away.
Well, I instantly knew that he, our actor, is most likely wasted, plastered, drunk in every scene of his movie. But they're like investigating, and
I swear they dubbed like every single one of his lines.
McGrew is he's instantly on to something's up.
Yeah,
because he's
one of those characters that like you see him and instantly you're like, that guy's sus.
Because he's like immediately like, a guy with no record is suddenly just capping criminals all over the city.
Yeah.
Okay, something's up. But they're investigating.
Well, we get a lot of the detectives talking to each other, so they're supposed to be like friends, right? There's not a lot of chemistry because it's a horrible movie. So, but they're supposed to be like really good friends, right? Yeah. Because it becomes it's an important scene later in the movie.
Yes, sure. Well, yeah.
So they're trying to establish that these 2 are like friends, right?
You can think that if you want to cope.
I would
please
never.
Do.
There was no chemistry between them whatsoever.
I would have never guessed that.
I would have never guessed that either.
No. Then our dude Chase runs away, and I guess his friend who was supposed to pick him up just vanishes into thin air.
Yeah, where did he go?
I have no
Because
idea.
he's like, later we see him talking to McGrew, which is like kind of a throwaway scene where
because he tells him like, I want you to find out what's happening.
I want you to find out like and like
the streets.
If you don't, I'm gonna talk to your parole officer and blah blah blah.
Because basically, our guy Chase runs into a woman who hits him with her car, and then he takes her car.
And he tries to like explain to her that he doesn't mean to do this. He's not going to kill her. He's not going to hurt her.
And he gives her an entire.
He gives her.
Oh no! And then Okay, so now I remember. So he jumps out the back of the apartment, and immediately the cops show up.
Yes.
And they're like, and it's the same cops from the beginning of the movie. I don't know if it's supposed to be the same characters or if they're just cheap and they couldn't get new actors, whatever.
I love every time that like Chase is in trouble and like being aimed at like with guns.
Well, they're not going to shoot him. These guys aren't.
No one ever reacts. Well, they're cops. They're not going to shoot him. They want to take him in. Yeah. But like every time he's in front of a gun, no one fires the gun.
No, they have to give a speech.
Yeah, they have to give a little speech to give him enough time to react.
Or for the game master to show up.
Yeah, because he gets chased by these cops.
They try to arrest him, and then, he says something, and then out of nowhere, the game master pops in, and they're like, "Who are you?" And he's like, he says, I don't know,
I think his name is like Steel or something. I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter. But he kills the cops.
He says some nonsense line and kills them.
He kills the cops and he's like, and the guy's like, he's like, you're in this game now. Blah blah blah.
Who are you? I'm the bad guy. And then
I'm the bad guy.
Pow! He points his finger gun.
Every time he sees Chase, he points his finger at him and a gun and says pow.
Every time.
Every single time. So they wanted to make it a thing. It's
going to be a thing because
that's the thing in the movie.
You get a big
pow. So because you get the big bazinga at the end with the pow.
Okay. And then he runs away, gets hit by the woman's car.
Yeah, and this is where he he takes control of her car and he's trying to explain to her what's going on.
They go to the park. And
and he's like trying to calm down, but he gives her a rundown of exactly what we've seen in the movie. Like, hey, like I don't mean to do this. I just got handed this gun. My sister's dead. Yeah. Like all this shit has been happening.
I saw this guy killed 2 cops. Blah blah blah. But while they're there, the woman like briefly tries to escape.
She unbuckles her seatbelt and like you hear
the beeping.
I love how they try and get paranoia going in this movie, because every time he hears beeping, he thinks it's the gun, right? But it's different things. It could be something else.
You say that, but they only do that once.
No, they do it twice in the bathroom of the strip club.
Oh, the guy with the watch,
with the pager. The watch.
And then it does.
They do it twice. Yeah.
Then it does the literal thing right after. Yeah, but yeah, he hears it and then presumably thinks everything's fine. And then they keep cutting the whole time during the scene
to 2 women with like a pram, pushing a pram in the park.
And then it starts beeping again, louder. And then you see them pull 2 shotguns out of it and start shooting. And our dude is like, he's like leaned down while they're shooting at the car.
And he's like trying to
he's wiggling his gun.
Wiggling his gun in his hand, trying to get it to fire, but it won't fire. And the girl in the car, the woman, gets fed up and she's like, just give me that. And she cocks the gun,
she switches off the safety.
She loads the chamber, switches off the safety and starts firing at the 2 women.
Yeah. And then she's like, drive.
And so he starts driving and again, we get a car chase where there's 2 women and then we get Chase and the woman leaning at the car, firing at the 2 women.
And again, this pistol that they have, at no point in the movie
gets reloaded. And they have a shotgun. Those 2 women have a shotgun leaning out the window.
Yes. But the big thing with the pistol is you see it fire millions and millions of shots. At no point in this movie do you see anybody carry spare ammo, anything like that.
No, you don't need to reload in this universe, okay?
It's fine.
Every gun has unlimited ammo.
It's totally fine. And they do this chase. Eventually it ends with the 2 women flinging their car into a lake.
Yeah, so they get flung into a lake, and then it's at a strip club, and they pull over.
Yeah, because he basically tells her, okay...
he's like, I'm not dragging you into this.
Thank you for helping me. But I'm
leaving. Yeah. I'm like, this is the end. This is where you get to somewhere safe.
And I knew immediately there's no way this is the end.
I'm just like, she's gonna come back.
Yeah. So she leaves, and he
goes into the strip club.
Because one of my favorite jokes.
Because it's a David Pryor film.
Not yet. One of my favorite jokes is you see a van delivering newspapers.
Yeah, that's right.
And he goes over and looks at it, and the whole it's a front page has a mug shot or picture of him.
A guy, a tubby guy, comes out and he's like, it's 25 cents for if you want to buy one of those.
And he just walks away and he's like, the city's full of bums. And it hard cuts to our dude,
Chase walking down the street,
to a guy rifling through trash,
itching his
scratching his ass, and you see his ass cracking.
And you also see a guy passed out on the bus stop bench.
Beautiful.
Of course.
Poetic.
They mention bums, and then they show...
Immediately.
They show literal bums.
A bum and a bum.
And a bum.
It's great.
It's great.
David Pryor is a fucking...
He's an auteur of trash.
A visual poet, okay?
Of absolute trash.
And yeah, he goes into a strip club.
Because David Pryor, he has to show his quota of titties.
Yeah, because there's no indication of why he's going in the strip club. He just goes there. And he sits down. And
the Game Master shows up.
Game Master shows up.
He buys him a Miller Lite.
And he's like, I'm going to kill you. And he's like, no, you won't. You're not.
He's like, you're not
there yet.
He's like, you're not understanding this.
You're not there yet.
with or without the gun, you die. Yeah. It's like you have a better chance with the gun.
Because it'll basically, tell
Well, because he's basically saying if you hand the gun to someone else, you're still going to die.
Yeah.
So, like, defend yourself with the gun, basically.
Because the gun will, hint you in when there's danger close by.
Yes.
Because earlier, when our game master yeeted off 2 of the goons, you saw him grab something off their belt buckles.
Yeah. And so he points his finger at Chase and goes, pow. And then Chase goes into the bathroom and hears a beeping. So he kicks down the stall and he's like, what's that beeping? And he's like, it's my watch. And
he's like, get out of here. And he's like, I can't even take a crap in peace anymore. And then he goes back to the sink. Beeping starts again. 2 gooners come in the door.
Yeah, you get an interesting cast of hitmen.
And he just hands the gun to them because he's like, I'm done. And they're like, listen, this is not how the game works. You
still have to die. And, of course, this takes for fucking ever for them to even, like, aim their guns at Chase.
He's aiming his gun or whatever.
And Chase, like, takes the stall door and, like, slams his head into it. And the guy falls back.
He falls back and he hits the back of his head on the hand dryer.
Yep. And the other guy's like, dumbass. And then
he just stands there, stares, and he's like, dumb fuck.
And which is clearly ADR.
Yeah, clearly ADR. But they had to add that in.
Dumb fuck.
And then Chase goes into one of the bathroom stalls.
And he jumps into the other one.
And the guy, he thinks he has the wrong stall. So he takes his gun, points it over the top of it, and
just
shoots.
Fires in.
Because they don't have the budget to have him firing at the actual bathroom door.
No.
And the actual bar that they filmed this at was probably like, no, you cannot
destroy our property.
We are broke. Okay?
And so
he then opens the door of the bathroom he's hiding in, knocks the guy out, gets his gun back, and is leaving. And you see a peep show.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
So it's a bunch of dudes watching this woman just on a chair, the topless woman on a chair.
Looks like they filmed it in a warehouse.
Yeah, and so Chase like goes over to the door and like goes into the peep show,
and the woman starts like
being like, "Oh, you want to be part of the show?
Let me touch it.
Oh, let me touch it.
Let
me touch it." And so you see the 2 gooners get up from the bathroom and they look into the peep show, and you just I love with the peep show when they show the people looking in. It's just this awkward like wide-eyed thing of them in like this little rectangle just over there. Like you can see none of the actors except for their eyes.
My favorite
in this little rectangle of iron.
You'll see the gooners looking through, right? And then suddenly, like, they get shoved out of the way, and the other gooners with the guns peep in.
And, of course, Chase fires off one round. It hits one of the gooners in the fucking crotch.
Yeah, because they all start shooting through the peephole. And then, he shoots one of them in the crotch and, I guess, kills him. They run out. There's a foot chase. They go into a back alley. They fight.
They do like a fist fight because they fight over the revolver first, and then they do a fist fight in the alleyway.
Cops show up, so the guy's like knocked out. The cops chase him, and then while the guy's knocked out, the game master shows up.
So Chase knocks out the guy and then runs away from the cops. That's what happened. And then the game master shows up,
and the guy's like, because when he was right before he runs off because of the cops, he asks the guy like what the deal is. Who's responsible?
And the guy gives him a clue. He's like, the gun is the clue. Like, it's all
money.
A game. Yeah,
it's all for money. Like the gun is the clue.
And so, Chase runs away because the cops show up. The cops pay no mind to the unconscious man in the alley.
They chase him, and then Game Master shows up.
And the guy's like, I didn't tell him anything.
I didn't say nothing.
And he's like, yeah, no, I understand. And then he takes him in a chokehold and then just snaps his neck.
And then laughs. And
then just disappears. Because he's the game master, okay? This is like urban D&D.
I don't listen. He's
the DM.
higher plane shit going on here.
There
okay?
is, yeah.
We'll get to it.
There's a slightly supernatural.
I don't know what they're going for because it's so stupid.
It's a little supernatural, which is weird for David Pryor, but okay. So he's running away, and he's running like on a sidewalk, and the girl shows up and picks him up.
With a new car.
Yeah. And she's like, I heard the siren, so I've
He's
been
like, how did you find me? She's like, well, I just drove around the whole city.
I don't know
all
why
day.
she's in a new car, because they got a new junk car to drive around, because the red car was totaled.
They blew out they damaged the front windows too much.
Yeah. So now it didn't look clean.
Yeah.
So now they got another salvage title car that they could bring by.
Oh my god! And then they go to like a shack. I don't even know. And
yeah, it's like this weird, like just rundown shack.
And they take apart the gun, and he finds a little like transmitter in there, and that's the thing that beeps all the time. And then there's also a weird serial number on like the barrel. And she's
like, I'm gonna go to my work tomorrow and see
and look this up.
Like what
they don't tell you where the fuck she works, but we'll get there.
Who cares? It doesn't.
Two goons show up.
Who the fuck cares? No.
Oh yeah.
God damn you! Don't jump ahead.
Blue ball.
They're about to fuck. Because she takes off her top.
Tender kissing moment in a David Pryor movie imaginable.
They're about to, get to it, and then two guys show up.
And they're like,
they interrupt. And
give us the gun.
Give us the gun. And he's like, no. And so they knock out Chase.
And they throw the woman on the bed.
And they can't leave because one of them gets horned up. Because they're about to leave, and then the guy's like, well, we just got to kill them both. And the guy licks his lips at the girl, and he's like, man, we don't have time for that. He's like, we do. I'm gonna do it.
And then he starts going, and the other guy starts standing there, again, licking his lips, and then he
I like how the other goon just like cucked himself. Like he's just gonna stand in there and watch with
excited,
glee.
Yeah.
And the other guy just starts kissing her, and then Chase starts getting up, and you see this knife on the back of this other goon that's just bouncing up and down, watching this guy attempt to sexually assault this woman.
And he takes the knife,
and he stabs the guy
turns
dick.
around and he stabs him in the dick. And then at some point,
I don't know if he grabbed it or if it turned into that,
but the
knife turns into a pipe.
He beats the other guy to death
with the pipe.
Because
it's supposed to show he's losing his
now. Because at this point, the only person he's killed was in the very beginning, and that was an accident.
This was on purpose, and he is full of rage, and so now it's he's lost his humanity.
He's desensitized.
He's gonna play the game now,
and we get a quick thing where the McGrew, the detective, is talking to
the guy, his friend.
Yeah,
and the friend's
Chase's friend, and he's
that gun is the key to everything. It's a game. It's you get $1 million from it.
And he's just okay, cool. Now disappear, vanish forever.
Yeah. So now Chase disappears for a while because we get the woman going on her quest to figure out
her job, which she goes to her job,
which is just a computer
with a keyboard that's about to fall off the desk, the tiny desk, and she sits there in her dress shirt that has a gigantic hole in the back.
A ripped hole.
I don't know why. You see a dude slowly...
I said that the cars weren't the only thing salvaged in this fucking movie.
Some dude starts walking up. I kind of guessed who
lumbering around because you can tell it's an older man.
And it's one guy.
Yeah.
Instead of... Because all the bad guys come in pairs.
So you know who it is. It's McGrew, obviously. But she's looking it up, and she puts in the coordinates, and it's 1 million, this offshore account. It has $1 million, and McGrew's standing right behind her.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Wow, I didn't know that it was worth that much money and all this stuff."
It just cuts to a shootout in a junkyard.
Hard cut to Chase having a shootout with the two women from the park,
and now it's sort of implying that he's not as scared, and he's way more aggressive and confident.
But again, no one hits each other for a few minutes.
He baits one of them by using the transmitter.
Yeah, he puts the transmitter on the ground, and she's like, "Game over," and he's like,
"You're dead."
Shoots her.
And then there's another one who karate kicks him a bit, and he shotguns her with her own shotgun. Game Master shows up again, and he's like, I bet you'd like to kill me now. You're getting good.
And he's like, yeah, I would. And he like tries to fire the shotgun. And the one time
It's out of ammo.
He's like, you forgot to count. It's like, forgot to count? They've been using like billions of bullets this entire time.
Finally hit the limit.
Just because of convenience.
And he knocks Chase out.
Of course, he does the POW thing.
POW.
And then knocks him out.
It says some vague, cryptic Game Master nerd DM nonsense and walks away. And
McGrew and the woman show up.
And she's like, okay, you're safe. I told this guy. He believes you. Like, we're going to get to the bottom of this.
And McGrew's like, don't. And you know, like, you've watched enough movies to know that, like,
yeah.
There's no way McGrew's just going to, like, go along with it after knowing how much it's worth and knowing what the game is and all that shit. So he's like,
okay, come to the station with me, and he, like, handcuffs him.
He's like, okay, you're going to come to the station for, like, 12 hours. We're going to get this all sorted out. You just got to come in for questioning, and then we're going to go after the real bad guys.
And so they go off, and he tells the woman to go home. So she goes home. His friend from earlier in the movie is there. And he's like, where's Steven?
You notice how they never go into her house? Because, why?
They probably already did when we were in the office.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably someone's house.
And
he's like, she's like, no, everything's fine. He's with McGrew. And he's like, McGrew, now I'm worried. Now I'm worried.
McGrew takes him to a random, like, rail yard.
There's no dialogue between them during this entire time. Like, there's no, like, Chase saying, like, we're going the wrong way or anything. And they fuck up continuity once.
Shocking.
Because you see a scene of the car driving by and Chase is in a jacket, which he wasn't in before. Now he's not in a jacket.
But they just park there, and then they get out. He takes off his handcuffs.
I don't know, like, why here McGrew chose. It's just like a fucking defunct rail yard.
Dude. Because they could use it for.
It looks like filming. The same location they were just in.
Because they could use it for easy filming.
So he
takes the
he takes his gun out and fires at his own car 3 times
with the MacGuffin pistol.
Yes,
he fires at his own car and then tosses it to Chase, and then Chase is like, "I see." Escaped on the run criminal fires 3 shots at cop. Cop kills criminal in self-defense.
This is one of my favorite parts because he tried to go for like this, like David Pryor tried to go for this like heartwarming like friend trying to convince friend to.
Well, because like he does all that and the McGrew's like, "Yep, you figured it out."
And he's like, they're doing like a standoff, right? So McGrew's about to fire because Chase is always in this situation where he has a gun. He has no gun and a gun pointed at his head, and the guy's just explaining what's happening, right?
He doesn't even explain. He just tells him, "Yeah, you got it," and
he just stands.
$1 million is a lot of money.
Yeah,
and he points the gun, and then you hear from behind a shack,
"Mac, don't do this.
Don't destroy your life.
Don't throw your life away, Mac." And it's his partner,
who you haven't seen for like an hour,
just coming out of fucking nowhere, and is like, "Mac, you don't want to do this.
Don't ruin your life, Mac.
Mac, you can change this. You can turn it around, Mac." And he's like, "You're right." And like Mac, like, McGrew, he puts his gun down a little bit.
And he's like, "Listen, we'll be okay." And then he puts his arm on his shoulder,
and that's like it's like a bird's eye view, and you see McGrew take his gun and fucking fire at the partner. But and all the while, Chase has not tried to run away. He's just been listening this entire time to this tender moment between partners.
But he runs away right after
and we get
shot.
A foot chase with a bunch of guns. Well, McGrew firing a gun, and then also Chase has the gun now again.
Yeah, because he grabs it. So they fire the guns over and over. Then there's a random yokel on a dirt bike.
So Chase like yanks him off the fucking dirt bike,
steals his helmet, and knocks him out with the helmet.
They take the helmet so they can put a
stunt double.
A stunt double in that helmet. So
was proficient in riding motorcycles.
Yes.
We get a chase with the motorcycle and the car.
Now it's again McGrew hanging out the fucking car now it's one guy. McGrew and just Chase.
And Chase isn't shooting. He's driving the bike.
Yeah.
So they're shooting. McGrew's shooting at him. They go to like the desert, And then,
well, they go through like the city, and you go through like another park, which is probably the same park they were already at.
He drives on like the sidewalk,
and then they go into the desert.
And Chase, you just see him like drop his bike. He just flips down and falls off his bike, and you're like, what's going on? And McGrew keeps driving, and then you just see like McGrew make like a face of like mild discomfort.
And then this is the most casual way to die on the planet. Like, he acts like it's like a minor inconvenience that he's literally plummeting to his death.
And then you see like a wide shot of a car going off
and
a cliff.
Of course you get the 80-yard line, the perfect, oh shit.
And then the car falls off, explodes. And then
it doesn't even really explode. Like, they have like a flaming engine that falls out of it.
Well, I think it's just chance. Because basically the car flies off the cliff, and as it's falling, you see the engine block like explode out of it and fall out.
Yeah.
But
it does look pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Then 3 more cars show up.
Yes, and they all point at Chase again.
And they start shooting.
And Chase has zero cover. He's out in the fucking middle of like a desert. Like, there's no cover whatsoever. And no one can fucking hit him.
Nope. He's just rolling around.
By this point, he has been grazed by one of the women. We forgot to mention that. He did get grazed in the shoulder, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect him at all.
He's fine. Just a little scratch.
So he's like rolling around in the desert while all these guys fire blindly into the fucking desert with no cover.
Then the woman and his friend show up. They quickly manage... He just jumps in there.
But they're like inches from the fucking guys firing at them, and no one hits anyone.
Nope. And then they get another chase.
And
they get dynamite.
Chase hands the gun to the woman, and then the friend is like, "Here, take this," and he hands him a lighter, and then he just has sticks of dynamite rolling around in the back for no reason.
He dynamites one of the cars enough to where it
goes on a hill and gently rolls over.
Lightly rolls over. Then they go to a dock.
Yes.
And they have the friend gets injured in a shootout.
He gets like shot in the chest.
And he's like,
I thought he was dead.
Yeah, he's like, go. And then they go. They steal a boat. Bad guys steal another boat.
This is the longest,
right around on the ocean.
A foot chase, a car chase, and a boat chase, and it's like literally just them doing the same thing, just fire, and then Chase will be like fire, and then the bad guys fire, and then Chase fire, and then bad guys fire, and then Chase fire. It's like the same thing, and this is where I got kind of annoyed because I was like, we get it, okay, just someone hit someone.
Nope,
they don't.
After a while, the woman looks down and she finds a flare gun. She's like, "Here."
He's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Here," and I'm like, "What the fuck is a flare gun?" In this universe, apparently flare guns
blows up
are enough to blow up an entire boat.
So you see
the once in a lifetime shot.
You see it for a brief millisecond. Some nondescript item exploding in a bathtub.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be the boat.
Because again, like we said in Jaws the Revenge, it looks like different water. You cannot.
I will say.
It does look better because they cut away.
Shockingly enough, in this movie that cost $5, it looks better than a studio-produced movie that cost millions.
You know why? Because they cut away sooner.
Because even this idiot knew when to cut away. And then they're back on the shore. And they're walking over to their friend, and Game Master shows up. And he's like, I won.
And the guys, Chase is like, I won. Where's my money?
And he's like, the game's over. The corporation decided to call it off. So fuck you.
Conveniently, fuck you. That was too much money to give away.
We can't let a normie win. And then he's like about to shoot our guy.
Of course, Chase is in another situation where he has a gun aimed at him, and the guy's just explaining shit.
And then his friend is still alive, takes his gun
and fires at Game Master and shoots him in the chest.
And one of the last things the Game Master said is like, "You're like me now." And so he's like, Chase walks over to him, and he's like, "You're wrong. I'm nothing like you."
And he doesn't
shoot him.
And then the Game Master lifts one more finger up at him.
No, don't forget. He tells him, go to the penthouse.
Yeah.
At the
big black building.
diamond building penthouse, and then he lifts his gun up.
He goes pow,
and then dies.
Well, okay, so then it I don't know if this was a mistake or if it was just him.
I think they're fucking with us.
Like he's like a mystical DM.
So they walk out. They're walking away, and then they turn around to look at the carnage, and it's a panning shot.
And the game master's
no body.
gone.
There's no body.
The game master disappeared to go DM another game.
He's a mystical figure, Will.
So now it just shows the corpos, right? And they're like, okay, well that was the test run.
The test run was a success.
It's like little kids when they're like, when they lose a game and they're like, that was just a test game. Okay, now we're
serious.
Now we're really playing. Okay, this is the real game now.
And you see a janitor walk in, and it's our guy, and you see him. He
changes the dumpster and he puts the little transmitter in the dumpster
and walks away. And then as soon as he closes the door, they go back to talking and they're like, okay, our next target is going to be Senator Smith.
I like to think that these old fucks have a gigantic fucking dumpster sized garbage can in their room for no reason.
It's classy.
But I love the room because we forgot to talk about the room. The aesthetics of the room is just one dim light just shining on the table.
And then there's one, it looks like a library lamp on the table.
In the middle of the table.
There's the window outside, which is darkened. There's a cardboard outline of a skyscraper. Did you notice?
Yeah.
In the back.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. And the gigantic map.
But it's hella dark in the room
because
they're evil. They're evil. So
they're evil corporation. Okay.
Yep.
So they're talking and they're like, okay,
now we can take out the senator.
The senator who's been hassling us. We'll get him. And then the beeping starts, and a bunch of goons burst in. And their guy's like, what are you doing? Don't you know who we are? And they get mowed down. A bunch of fucking...
Just get annihilated.
Grandpas in corpo suits get annihilated. And then it's
And then they're outside of the building.
Chase and the woman are outside, and he's like, I gave them... She's like, what did you do in there? And he's like, oh, I just gave him back something that was theirs. And after the dudes get mowed down, they're walking away. And they look at the camera and smile.
No, so wait, before this, remember they're like, "Let's go get our $1 million," and he throws the uniform on the ground, and he's like, "Now we're gonna get our $1 million.
Let's go withdraw that $1 million."
This is where they walk into frame, right? It's like a fountain of a business park.
Yeah,
and they both look at the camera,
and Chase does the finger gun, and he says, "Pow."
And instead of freeze framing,
they tell them to stand as still as possible for 5 seconds.
It's like Dave Pryor, you can freeze frame.
No.
That's actually cheaper than wasting more film.
Apparently it costs more money. So they just pow, and they stand as still as possible.
It's so awkward because they stand there for 15 extra seconds.
It's 5 seconds?
Yeah.
And it would have been okay, but the problem is that there's wind, and the girl's shirt is
her fringe
has a fringe at the bottom, and it's waving in the wind.
Yeah, and then you can kind of see them breathing too.
But they stand there for 5 seconds with the finger gun,
and then credits.
And then credits start. Stupid.
This movie is adorably stupid. I enjoyed it. It was very fun to make fun of and very entertaining. But again, I liked Killer Workout more.
Yeah.
Deadly Prey was better.
Deadly Prey had the worst ending, but the movie itself was better.
Well, yeah, the ending sucked. I mean, at least this one actually had an ending where the corpo suits get fucking annihilated.
You thought they were just...
I thought they were going to do a cliffhanger. I was predicting. I did not expect the game master to just disappear.
To be a fucking...
Become a mythical being.
What a choice. Yeah. I mean, Man Killers was more fun.
Man Killers was way more fun.
It doesn't have enough.
It's not as ridiculous as those movies.
Insanity.
That's what I don't like because it didn't have you know, because like Killer Workout had the whole subplot where she was like scarred for life, and that's why she's killing all these like beautiful young people.
Plus,
and like,
you know, it doesn't have
it didn't have like endless scenes of just women working out, like non-stop montages of women working out, and that weird. Didn't that have the detective guy, the weird like hard-boiled detective?
the hard-boiled detective who
No, it wasn't the detective. It was the coroner.
No, that was you're thinking of Zombie Nightmare.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Killer Workout had
the hard-boiled
who, at
detective.
the end of
yeah.
the movie,
Yeah.
decided that he was going to take Rhonda out to the woods,
Yeah.
give her a speech about how he's going to murder her, and then she just kills him with his own shovel. Like, it had more moments of insanity.
Yeah, well, and like even like Man Killers did too, where it's like all the training scenes
Yeah.
of just like random shit, and the guy's like living out in like a shanty town that is exactly the same as the woman's like workout thing, but like without windows or whatever. Like, do you remember that they used the same set, but it was like slightly different?
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get like because Man Killers had the weird fucking like. The eccentric like bad guy to the fucking weird military guy.
Yeah. It also had an evil corporation.
Yeah. Well, and like Deadly Prey even like had like some weird shit going on.
The
like,
dad.
Yeah, the dad
Pretends
and like
to be dead.
fucking.
So he can kill the corpo.
Yeah.
He gives him the long speech. Who am I? I've spent my whole life trying to put big shots like you away. I spent years on the streets.
Now, I will say, again, like, I think Deadly Prey was the most disappointing because the ending was the fucking biggest, like, fuck you to the audience ever.
The problem with this movie is that it doesn't have an interesting main character.
That is the problem because
all the other movies do.
I think that's what I didn't like most about it because Chase is not an interesting enough character to keep the movie going.
Yeah.
He's kind of lame. He doesn't really have any like gotcha moments.
Because it's like, I get what they're doing. There's a billion movies like this.
I get he's supposed to be like an average Joe Schmo,
but
right?
Most
like he's
movies,
supposed to be like an average guy. I get what they were going for, but he's not interesting even as a normal guy.
That's why most of these movies, what they do is they're doing the thing where they're playing this game where they're hunting people, right? And then they pick somebody that they think is just a normie. And he's not a normie, so he fucks him up.
Deadly Prey did that too.
Deadly Prey or Avenging Force or our favorite, Hard Target.
Yeah, like
where it's like they think he's a nobody, but they fuck with the wrong person.
Even if you're gonna pick a nobody, right? Make them an interesting person.
Yeah.
Or at least have like a training montage where you show that he's like gonna get serious about the game and becomes that person that they don't think he can be.
Yeah, because it's like, you know. I get why they do the whole thing of like he doesn't know how to take his safety off, he doesn't do that, and like that's fine in theory.
That's fine in the beginning, right?
But the issue is that there's nothing.
You should
there.
see progress of like him becoming a killer because he has to survive.
Or make him more compelling.
But and I also didn't like how they like kind of just left it like really open with the whole fucking manhunt thing. Like he never like encounters the cops after like a like that certain like half of the movie. The cops never come into view again. They never fucking come back after like McGrew does that whole fucking thing.
Nope. That's it. It's just those two cops.
And it's like just so like stupid. It's like, you know, any other movie you have this like huge manhunt going around because your character is supposed to be running from not only the evil assassins but also the cops because the cops want to take him in where he can get like put in prison and killed by assassins. Or the assassins take him out. So there's like multiple points of danger going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at no point do you feel like Chase is in actual danger because like fucking like...
Well, because everyone who's hunting him is incompetent.
Yeah, they can't hit anything.
Horribly incompetent.
They're fucking... No one can kill this average Joe Schmo guy, and he's just not interesting enough to carry an entire movie. And like, even the woman... Like, she's, like, a better actor than the Chase guy, but, like, she's even not interesting enough to, like, carry this movie.
Yeah. I mean, the one kind of interesting switcheroo they do is that she is the one who's, like, initially way more...
Yeah, but we never know why.
No, she has, like, a brief thing where she says her dad was a...
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Like a... I don't even know, like a Whatever the hell the dude in Deadly Prey was, she basically says her dad was that. So he like taught her a lot.
But I mean, they never delve into that though. Like she doesn't defend herself when the two goons come into the. She just lays on the bed. She and she has all this training apparently.
Well, they're armed.
Well, I know, but she doesn't do anything.
That's fine. We have our Chase stabs a man in the dick,
and then it turns into a
nightstick.
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't think the characters were interesting enough in this one because David Pryor always has interesting characters, and that's what I love. They're endearing and they're fucking entertaining as hell to watch.
Yeah.
This one didn't have interesting enough like main characters. Although I do have to say, the thing that kept me engaged was the Game Master because I loved every time he was on the screen.
Because it's so weird.
And all the random goons that would show up, they're just so like weird and like just interesting to like how he like tried to make them kind of slightly different, but it was always two guys.
I always like how they're always like a bickering couple too.
Yeah, it's always like two guys.
And they're always bickering. Like the guy who's shooting is like complaining that he's not driving fast enough, or the guy who's driving is complaining that the guy who's shooting can't aim. Like, they're always bickering.
No one can aim in this movie though.
No,
let's be honest. No one can aim in this movie.
Hopeless.
Yeah, and McGrew, I mean, he's boring, but at least it had like
he's drunk on screen.
At least there was another element to the movie.
Yeah.
So it's not all bad, but like I will say, for me, probably one of his weaker movies. If I'm gonna say, if you're gonna watch like David Pryor movies, definitely like put this at the bottom of your list or watch it first, so you don't have to like watch it.
I don't think it's as bad.
It's not as bad as Sledgehammer.
But, I mean, even that was like, it wasn't irredeemable or anything like that.
No, I mean, none of his movies has been like unwatchable, right? Even this one is watchable. It's entertaining, and there are some funny parts, like the oh shit, like veering off the fucking like cliff, and the fucking Game Master just randomly showing up and like disappearing. Yeah,
goons because they failed.
Yeah. And I mean, even the corpo suits, like, being like, what the hell? Don't you know who this is? They just get fucking mowed down for no reason, no explanation. Just get mowed down by just people in shadows. A
bunch of shadowed, suited up
assassins, yeah. But anyway, like, sure. I mean, there is stuff to like in this movie. It didn't hit as hard as his other ones.
Yeah.
For me. Which will probably affect the rating. Because I'm sure, I think Killer Workout I gave like a 9 or a 10.
Might have been a 10.
This one, we go to Shitty to Pretty right now. I think I'm going to give like a 7.
I'll give it a 6.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because it does have its entertaining moments. But, you know, it does feel a bit like a missed opportunity.
I think he could have done way more. And I thought the plot was good, but like not crazy enough executed for David Pryor.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was held back or what happened, but like something happened where he just didn't go for it.
Needs a little more flavor.
And it needs a little more like crazy characters or like good, like a good main character that is like kind of hardened or something like that. I don't know.
Something compelling.
Something compelling to keep me engaged with the characters that I'm supposed to care for, because I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I cared way more for Rhonda, and she's the villain. And I was, like, way more engaged with why she was doing what she was doing.
Yeah.
And, like, how evil she was.
Or even, the undercover cop in Kill Workout. Or the fucking angry incel.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that.
Yeah, or, like, in like, Man Killers, like, the guy on the farm, like, the father on the farm that just randomly would just, like, do random shit on the farm.
You're thinking of,
Oh, I'm thinking of a different one, sorry.
Sakura Killers.
Yeah, no, sorry,
You're thinking of Chuck Connors in his greatest role in a film, which is Old Man Who Sits on Farm.
Sorry. No, but, like, even, like, Man Killers, like, all the characters in that were, like, really like different and like they had stuff to give, and they were like, they had the fucking crazy bazooka scene where like that crazy fucking shootout at the end,
or one of the like girls in Man Killers who was like, she wanted to like escape and like all this stuff, and then at the end of the movie she's like the most gung-ho about finishing the job, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's like interesting characters. There's stuff to keep you engaged the entire time. I don't know, like like I said, it's just like kind of one of his more bland movies. It's not unwatchable. It's just bland.
Yeah, I mean, it's more competently made than American Revenge, but unfortunately, the deep fry is lesser.
Although I did enjoy the Game Master, which is why it gets a little bit more points for me, because I don't know what it is about him, but like every time he's on screen, I just know some weird shit is gonna.
And
there could have been more scenes with him. I think that would have done it for me.
And you know that every time he's on screen, he is gonna say "pow." He's gonna point his finger gun.
Yes, I think that would have done it for me. More scenes of the Game Master, and then it would have like bumped it up. Because, like, he was engaging.
The greatest movie ever.
Yeah. No. There's no way.
Our mystical Game Master.
If it, like, turned out that he was playing, like urban D&D or whatever that's called.
Dude.
That'd be fucking hilarious.
I don't know, dude. I'm just saying. His body disappeared. It wasn't there.
Yeah, maybe he'll show up in another David Pryor film.
Wow.
The Game Master returns.
Well, I'm sure knowing David Pryor, we'll probably have another movie somewhere down the line of a man being hunted for sport.
Yeah, and maybe the Game Master will show up and I'll just clap my hands and be like, Game Master's back. Yay.
And there will also be an evil corporation guy who talks like a 1940s banker.
Yeah, well, listen, David Pryor, he has his tropes, okay?
There'll be,
that's fine.
Naked women. There'll be shenanigans.
It's David Pryor. You have to expect one or all of those things in his movies.
I would hope so.
Probably all.
Yeah.
Most likely all, because it's been a track record the entire time.
Oh,
so,
yeah, he's
I think even, I'm not remembering it completely right now, but I think even Sledgehammer had a lot of that.
No. Sledgehammer did have naked women.
Yeah.
But no guns, no corpos.
No corpos, yeah.
He didn't engage in that until later. But now every one of his movies, other than
he
Killer
started
Workout,
huffing the...
Because fucking Man Killers, Deadly Prey, and this has an evil corporation involved.
He started huffing the corpo copium.
All of his movies, they have to have that in the background, even if that's not the main villain. Because it's not technically the main villain in Man Killers or Deadly Prey.
No, but they were in there.
They were there as bad guys.
Yes. I don't know. Like, if you want to do a David Pryor marathon, just keep this one at the bottom of your list.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It's not bad, but it's not great.
Or, maybe you are going to be one of those people who will watch this and you will be like, wow.
Like, Will and Alex were wrong. I fucking love this movie.
Idiots have no idea what they're talking about. They are completely clueless and they should retire permanently. And you can think that. That's fine.
Yeah. And then promptly, if you think that we're idiots and don't want to listen to our podcast, just stop listening to our podcast. We don't need that kind of negativity.
Yeah, this is a positive zone.
We just do this for fun, and we don't.
Our next film will not be a negative experience at all. Okay.
I'm scared for our next film. I don't know what it is yet, but
one of you did sort of will this into existence, so I will, when we get to it, just know you are responsible.
You're gonna give that person their flowers?
I will give them something.
I mean, we probably won't name drop them or anything, but like
you know who you are.
You know who you are.
I don't need to shame you. Shame yourself.
But get prepared for that, because I don't know what it is either. But I will definitely be posting the poster on next Sunday.
You will.
Oh fuck.
You will probably bash your head against the wall.
Most likely,
because
and you know me well, so like that will definitely happen.
Yeah, because as soon as you see the title, you'll be like, oh fuck. No.
But yeah, so that was Death Chase.
Death Chase.
Go watch it on Tubi if you want to catch it. And then
enjoy yourself.
Let us know what you thought. If you liked it. If you think we're hacks. Whatever.
If you think we're hacks.
Go on YouTube and comment. Do all that stuff. Let's start a conversation. Did you think this was better than the other David Pryor films? I don't know why you would. What is the best David Pryor film?
What do you think of life?
Yeah.
What's your favorite drink?
How do you feel about corporate greed and rich people controlling
How do you feel
a deadly
about
game?
Oligarchies and listen, David Pryor wants us to have that conversation.
How do you feel about an all-woman military task force
that are all hot
and take out a bunch of men?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel inside?
Does that make you feel deep down good?
Are you as confused as me when you see Rhonda and her killing all these men, and you're just like, you have the most awkward boner ever?
She only kills one man.
That's true. She kills mostly women. You're right.
It's all women. She cannot stand beautiful.
Rhonda's hot. I'm just gonna say it. Like, she is.
I like that. How do you feel about beauty standards? David Pryor wants us to have that conversation.
Would you date Rhonda with her burn scars?
Are you jealous
I
of
would.
beautiful people?
Yeah.
To where you will kill them with a safety pin?
Let's have a conversation about David Pryor, okay? David A. Pryor. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get a corporate greed and...
But in the meantime...
Lawlessness.
In the meantime, this has been Will.
This has been Alex.
And we will talk to you all later.
Pow.
Pow.